In the heart of Elmwood, a quaint, picturesque town in the heartland of the USA, there stood a manor unlike any other. Elmwood Manor, as it was ominously named, had long been the subject of morbid fascination and whispered legends among the town's residents. Some said it was cursed, while others believed it was possessed by malevolent spirits. One thing was certain: those who entered its decaying, vine-covered gates never returned. But as Halloween approached, a group of adventurous friends, bound by a shared love for spine-chilling thrills, decided to confront the ominous reputation of Elmwood Manor head-on. There were Sarah, a fiery-haired skeptic; Jake, the fearless daredevil; Emma, the bookish intellectual; and Mark, the cautious realist. Together, they formed an unlikely quartet, each driven by their unique motivations. It was a cool, crisp evening as the four friends gathered on the outskirts of Elmwood, the wind whispering ominous secrets through the rustling leaves. The full moon cast eerie shadows over the twisted trees that surrounded the manor. Dressed in costumes that ranged from a witch to a zombie, they clutched flashlights, candles, and an assortment of gadgets they believed would protect them from whatever lay within. The first rays of the setting sun painted Elmwood Manor in a hauntingly beautiful glow. Sarah, always quick with a sarcastic remark, tried to break the tension. "You all realize this is just a dilapidated old house, right? There's no such thing as ghosts." Jake, ever the adrenaline junkie, laughed nervously. "Sure, Sarah, just a house. That's why they say it's haunted every year, and no one ever comes back." As they approached the imposing mansion, Emma, the rational thinker, voiced her reservations. "We should be careful. This place might be structurally unsound. We don't want to get hurt." Mark, the voice of reason, agreed. "Emma's right. Let's stick together and watch our step." The front door of Elmwood Manor creaked open with eerie reluctance as the group entered. Cobwebs draped every corner, and dust danced in the feeble beams of their flashlights. The air was thick with the musty scent of long-forgotten memories. As they ventured deeper into the mansion, strange occurrences began to unfold. Whispering voices echoed in the halls, chilling drafts seemed to materialize out of thin air, and doors slammed shut with a mind of their own. Sarah tried to maintain her skepticism, but a gnawing unease settled in her stomach. The group reached the grand ballroom, its opulent chandeliers long extinguished. A faded portrait of a stern-looking family hung on the wall. Emma approached it, her curiosity piqued. "Look at this," she said, her voice trembling. "It's the Waverly family, the original owners of Elmwood Manor. They disappeared mysteriously over a century ago." Mark examined the portrait closely. "And the legend goes that they haunt this place to this day, seeking vengeance for some long-forgotten injustice." Suddenly, the candle in Emma's hand flickered and went out. The room plunged into darkness, and a spine-tingling laughter echoed through the air. Panic gripped the group as they fumbled for their flashlights. From the depths of the darkness, they heard a ghostly whisper. "Leave this place, or join us." The group huddled together, their breaths shallow and rapid. Their courage wavered, but Jake, ever the daredevil, refused to be spooked. "Come on, guys, it's just a bunch of parlor tricks. Let's press on." With trembling hands, they managed to relight Emma's candle and continued their exploration of the manor. Each room seemed to have a story to tell, rooms where family secrets had been hidden, rooms where desperate cries had gone unheard. But it was the basement that held the darkest secret of all. Descending the creaky staircase, they entered a chamber that defied reason and reality. The walls were adorned with grotesque, otherworldly symbols, and the air was thick with an oppressive malevolence. At the center of the room lay an ancient tome, bound in leather that seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy. Emma, unable to resist her intellectual curiosity, approached the tome and began to decipher its cryptic text. As she read aloud, the room trembled, and a dark presence began to materialize. Sarah, now wide-eyed with terror, screamed at Emma to stop, but it was too late. The room erupted in a whirlwind of malevolent force, and the group was sent hurtling in all directions. When the dust settled, the group found themselves in a nightmarish dimension, trapped between the world of the living and the world of the dead. Elmwood Manor had claimed them, just as it had claimed countless others throughout the centuries. As they struggled to find their way back to reality, they encountered the tortured souls of those who had perished within the manor's walls. Each specter told a tale of betrayal, revenge, and eternal torment. The Waverley family, it seemed, had been cursed by dark forces, and their malevolent spirits now sought to ensnare the living. In a desperate bid to escape, the group retraced their steps through the haunted mansion, encountering ever more terrifying apparitions and supernatural phenomena. But with each step, the line between reality and nightmare blurred further, and they began to question their own sanity. Finally, they reached the grand ballroom, where the portrait of the Waverley family leered at them with accusing eyes. The spirits of the Waverleys materialized before them, their ghostly forms contorted with rage. "We are cursed," they moaned in unison. "And now, you shall share in our torment." But just as all hope seemed lost, Emma had an epiphany. She realized that the curse binding the Waverleys to the manor was tied to the ancient tome she had read from. With trembling hands, she reached into her bag and retrieved a small vial of salt she had brought for protection. In a daring move, she threw the salt at the tome, causing it to sizzle and emit a ghastly scream. The room convulsed, and the spirits of the Waverleys writhed in agony. With a blinding flash, the curse was broken, and the manor began to crumble around them. The group was transported back to the real world, standing in front of the now collapsed Elmwood Manor. As the dust settled, they realized they had narrowly escaped the clutches of the haunted manor. The legend of Elmwood Manor would live on, but this time, it would be different. No longer would it claim victims every Halloween. The curse had been broken, and the spirits of the Waverley family had finally found peace. The friends walked away from the ruins, forever changed by their harrowing ordeal. They had faced the darkest of horrors, and in doing so, had unearthed the power of courage and friendship. Elmwood Manor had tested their limits, but they had emerged from its clutches stronger and wiser. As Halloween approached in Elmwood once more, the townspeople would no longer speak of the manor with fear and trepidation. Instead, they would remember the group of friends who had dared to enter its haunted halls,